what effectively kicked in then was the old mantras and things that are handed down from generation to generation, which is, right, well, now you need to go and get a job, and then once you've got that job, you can stay in that job, and then you retire. So I basically started looking for jobs effectively once I'd retired. So not retired, finished uni,
Yeah.
and I'd managed to get myself into a situation where I was able to work for the college during the summer recess. They had a lot of international schools because Oxford's, obviously very famous, and lots of people like to come to it for summer.
Yeah.
So I was working on the staff there and managed to talk myself into a job to carry on whilst I tried to find something, because even then, every year, people graduate and say there are no jobs for graduates, and there weren't any jobs then either. So it was just trying to apply for different things. And I went back to the RAF, in fact, and had a conversation with them, and did end up at officer selection process, but that really didn't go so well. And I kind of thought,
because I did wonder if they were grooming you for officer level, but obviously you're a bit of a rebel by the looks of things. So
that is the problem. I think that was a problem, and also the fact that a lot of the people I was up against had, I was talking about stuff that I'd done within my college and university, and there was guys in the other room saying,
adventurers and explorers.
Yeah, after a lot of looking for jobs and not getting answers back or just getting rejects, I managed to get myself an interview with a car hire company, Europe Car. Essentially, fast forward, I managed to get that job, which I was very happy about, even though it paid peanuts. And that was the start of the corporate role, so to speak.
And how long did that last?
Some time, to be fair. In total, I think my, let's call it, corporate career probably lasted just under 12 years or so.
Yeah.
I managed to talk myself out of it into not having a job and being a property investor. But certainly it was an interesting time. When I was working for Europe Car, I was really just getting started. And to be honest, I was just being more of a rebel than usual. So kind of interesting times. I remember I joined the department, headed up by quite a senior manager, who got sidelined into something else because of politics. Because, as you know, corporate life's just all about politics. And then there was 3 of us in that department, and one of us got took somewhere else. And then they ended up with me and another guy that were focusing essentially on pricing. We went through about 4 or 5 interns who just hated the place, hated the pay, just hated everything about it, until it got to the stage where it's like, HR had to do something about that. So we managed to engineer for ourselves. And given that this was the 90s, we managed to engineer, I think, a £6,000 pay rise each, and he got a car. And then I managed to find him another job elsewhere as another pricing manager, which meant that he left 3 months later, and I got his job with another £6,000 pay rise in like the space of 6 months, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And, because I was kind of that person that just kind of said what I thought rather than towing the line. Some people like that and some people didn't. But ultimately, I did kind of leave that role because I got to a level where I just couldn't get above without justifying what I was doing and how I was doing it, and just not getting the support. So I went to another company which was based much closer to where I lived, because when I was doing that job, I was driving 130 miles a day to it. It was quite intense. And I found another job locally, which was 10 minutes drive, paid about the same, if not a little bit more money.
Right.
And that was where I really started focusing on building up my knowledge further, and then that's when I got interested in property more.